We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph in Masechah Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 111a. The Gemara says, "My amen." What is amen? Rashi explains, "My amen kishaonin al kol bracha bracha amen." When one answers on every bracha amen, hech mashma kabolas yira shamayim. How does that imply that the person is accepting upon himself the fear of heaven? And the Gemara continues and explains. Amar Reb Chanina. Reb Chanina says, amen indicates Kel Melech Naaman, the God, the King, the one who is faithful. And Rashi explains Kel Melech Naaman ben Otrikon. That's ben Otrikon, meaning to say the first letters of Kel Melech Naaman. That spells out amen. Shema'amin all of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he's saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trusted to him. And the Gemara continues. The pasuk says, "Lachein herchiva sha'ol nafsha." This is a pasuk in Yeshayahu. It says that the sha'ol, the netherworld, is going to widen itself, ufara pia livlichok, and it's going to open up its mouth for the one without the law. And the Gemara interprets the pasuk. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says, "L'misha meshayer afilu chok echad." What it means is, if somebody leaves off even one law, that person is going to go to Gehenim. Rashi explains, "L'misha meshayer afilu chok echad milashamra." If he doesn't keep even one law, nidon beGehenim, he's going to be judged in Gehenim. And the Gemara continues. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Lo nichol marayu." It's not pleasant. It's not pleasing for their master. It's not pleasing for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Amrit Luhachi, that you're going to say this to them. And Rashi explains, "Lo nichol marayu." Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu rotze shetei don es Yisrael kol kach lekaf chova. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want to judge Klal Yisrael so much for guilt that we're going to say somebody leaves off even one law, he's going to go to Gehenim. That's not appropriate. Again, lo nichol marayu da Amrit Luhachi. Ela afilu lo lamad. Rather, what it means is, even if the person only learned one law, then actually he will have a share. That is enough to have a share in the world to come. And the Gemara continues. The pasuk says in Zechariah, "V'haya b'chol haaretz neum Hashem." It will be in all of the land, says Hashem. Pishnayim ba yichresu v'yigvo. 2 times are going to be cut off and they will die. V'hashlishis, and a third yivaser ba, that will remain. And what the pasuk seems to be saying is that in the future a lot of people will perish and only some will remain. And the Gemara interprets this pasuk. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says shlishi shel shame. It means the third of shame. Amar le Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says to him, he says to Reish Lakish, "Lo nichol marayu di'amr luachi." Again, it's not pleasing to their master. It's not pleasing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to say this, to be so strict. El afilu shlishi shel Noach. What it actually means is the third of Noach. Rashi has a long first explanation, but then Rashi gives a second explanation, which he prefers. We will read the second explanation. Lishna achrina shlishi shel shame. What does it mean, shlishi shel shame? That's Reish Lakish's interpretation. Vashlishis mashma shnei shlish, meaning the word shlishis is mashma 2 times the third. Lakach namar shlishis. That's why it says shlishis shel shlishi l'shem. It means the third of the third to shame, and we'll explain in a moment. Uchsiv uvnei shem elam v'yashur v'arpachshad. It says that the sons of Shem were Elam and Ashur and Arpachshad. What that means to say is that Noach's third son, so to speak, is Shem, and Shem's third son is Arpachshad. V'Yisrael me Arpachshad having. Yisrael came from Arpachshad. Ushlishis me Arpachshad shu shlishi l'Shem yivasar. And what it means is the third from Arpachshad, which is the third from Shem, that will remain. Hainu shlishis me Yisrael. What that really means is 1/3 of Klal Yisrael, and that of course is too strict. Essentially, Reish Lakish is saying even many of Klal Yisrael are going to perish. Ella rather, so Rabbi Yochanan says back, no, what it means is shlishi shel Noach. It means the third from Noach. Kilomar, what that means to say is kulo arpachshad yivaser ba. The entire arpachshad is going to remain. Shu shlishi shel Noach, and arpachshad is the third of the third to Noach. The Shem hoya ben shlishi shel Noach, because Shem was the third son of Noach. T'chsiv uvnei Noach Shem Cham v'Yafes. It says the children of Noach were Shem Cham and Yafes. V'arpachshad shlishi l'Shem, and arpachshad was the third of Shem. V'ikron, Rashi says that's the main explanation. So Rabbi Yochanan essentially was responding that the entire arpachshad will remain. And the Gemara continues. The pasuk in Yirmiyahu says, "Ki anochi ba'alti bochem v'lakachti eschem echad meir u'shnayim mimishpach." It says that I chose you and I took you, 1 from the city and 2 from the family. And the Gemara continues. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says, "Devarim kechsavan." Understand it exactly as it's written, meaning only 1 from a city will survive in the future, only 2 from a family. And the Gemara continues. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said to him, he said to Reish Lakish, "Lo nichol marayu di'amr luachi." Again, it's not pleasant for their master, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to say this, to be so strict. Ella, rather, what does the pasuk mean? Echad meir mezaka kol kula. It means that one from the city can actually be of the benefit and be mezaka the entire city, that the whole city on his account is going to survive. Ushnayim mishpacha, there can be two from a family. Mezakin kol hamishpacha kula. They can be mezaka the entire family. That now, on the merit of those two, the entire family will survive. And the Gemara continues, Yosef Rav Kahana Kame de Rav, Yosef Amar, Rav Kahana sat before Rav, and he was sitting and he was saying, Dvarim Kechsavan, you should interpret the pasuk exactly as it's written. Again, one from the city and two from the family. Amar le Rav said to him again, Lo nichale l'marayu damar luhachi, it's not pleasing for their master to say this. Ella, rather, Echad meir, mezaka kol ha'ir, again, one from the city can be mezaka the entire city, Ushnayim mishpacha, mezakin kol ha'mishpacha, and two from a family can be mezaka that entire family. And the Gemara continues, Chazia dehavek hachayif reishe, v'salak v'yosef kami derav. He saw that he was washing his hair, meaning Rav saw Rav Kahana, he was washing his hair, and then he was coming and sitting before Rav. Amar le, and so Rav said to Rav Kahana, he quoted him from the pasuk in Eo, v'lo timotze be'eretz hachayim, it will not be found, you will not be found in the land of the living. And the Gemara says that Rav Kahana understood that Rav was giving him a curse. He was saying as if he's not going to survive. Amar le said to him, Melet kalaitisli, are you cursing me? Amar le, Rav said to him, no, I'm not cursing you, but krok, I mean, I'm just stating the following pasuk, that lo timotze Torah b'misha mechaya atzmo aleh. The Torah cannot be found with somebody who sustains himself over it, meaning if a person is not willing to sacrifice, but instead he treats himself to pleasures, which is what Rav Kahana was doing by washing his hair, the Torah cannot be found among such a person. And Rashi explains, Devarim kechsavan, again interpreting the pasuk as written, Shalo yimlatu ela echad meir ushnayim mishpach. If you interpret it as written, it means that there will only escape one from a city and two from a family. And then the Gemara said, V'lakachti echad meir b'shvil chased echad shabeir. It means because of one righteous person in the city, ekach es kol kula, I'll take the entire city. And then the Gemara said, Chazia Rav l'Rav Kahana. Rav saw Rav Kahana dekachayif reisha. He was washing his hair. Chofiv roshu ma'adin bi'atzvo. It means that these were like physical pleasures for himself by washing his hair. This was at a time that he should have been learning Torah, and so then he quoted him the pasuk of Lo simotze be'eretz hachayim, won't be found in the land of the living. Mashma shemekalo lo sovel olam haba. It implied that he was cursing him, that he will not come to olam haba. But then he explained again that the Torah is something that one has to sacrifice for. And the Gemara continues, Tanya, we learned in a Brayso, Rabbi Simoy, Rabbi Simoy says, Nemar, it says in the pasuk, V'lakachti eschem li lam, I will take you to me as a nation. V'nemar, and it says in the pasuk, V'heveisi eschem, that I'm going to bring you to Eretz Canaan. And the Gemara says, Makesh yitziyosun mi Mitzrayim leviyosun la'aretz. The pasuk over here is comparing their leaving Mitzrayim, their leaving of Egypt, to their coming to the land, to coming to the land of Eretz Yisrael. And we understand as follows, Ma biyosun la'aretz, just like when they came to the land, Shnayim misamech ribo, it was only 2 out of 600,000 that ended up entering the land, meaning all of those in the Midbar, they died, and only Yehoshua and Kalev actually entered the land, 2 out of 600,000. Afi yitziyasun mi Mitzrayim, so too when they left Mitzrayim, Shnayim misamech ribo, there were many that died in Mitzrayim, it was just 2 from 600,000 that left. Amar Rav, and Rava says, V'chein liyamos HaMashiach, the same is true in the times of Mashiach, it's only a few that will survive, that will merit it. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk in Sefer Hosea, the pasuk says, V'yonsa shama kimeinu oreh, and they'll respond there like the days of the youth, the chiyom alosa me'eretz Mitzrayim, like the days they came up from Eretz Mitzrayim, meaning again, just like over there was a small percentage, so too, in the Yemos HaMashiach, it will be a small percentage. And Rashi explains, V'chein liyamos HaMashiach shelo yisharim mikol samech ribo ela beis, again, it won't remain from every 600,000, only 2 will remain. V'yonsa shama kimeinu reo chiyom alosa me'eretz Mitzrayim. The Gemara's darshaning, the pasuk says, Rashi, aniyim u'shveilim yu, that they're going to be very poor and very lowly, kimei alosa me'eretz Mitzrayim, just like when they came out, when they came up from Eretz Mitzrayim. And the Gemara continues, Tanya, we learned in a Brai, Summer, Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yossi says, Pamachas nichnasti l'Alexandria shel Mitzrayim, one time I entered Alexandria of Egypt, Matzasi Zaken Echad, and I found a certain elder, V'yamar li, and he said to me, Bo v'erecha, come and I'll show you, Ma'asu avosai la'avosecha, what my forefathers did to your forefathers, meaning how the Egyptians, how they harmed the Jewish people. Mehem tivu bayam, from among them they drowned some at the sea. Mehem harga b'chara, from among them they killed some with the sword. Mehem moachu b'vinyan, from among them they used some of them as bricks, they crushed them in buildings, and so there was a lot of affliction of the Jewish people when they were in Egypt. And the Gemara continues, and the Brisa continues, Ve'al davar zen nenash Moshe Rabbeinu. For this issue, Moshe Rabbeinu was punished because Moshe Rabbeinu complained to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about this in an inappropriate fashion. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Me'az basi al paro ledaber v'shmecha, from when I came to Paro to speak in your name. This is what Moshe says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Heira lamazeh, it's only been bad for this nation. And the Gemara continues and says what HaKadosh Baruch Hu responded to Moshe. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him, he said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Chavol al da'avdin v'lo mishtachin, woe is to those that are lost, that are no longer found. How much lower we are in this generation than in the earlier times of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Hare kama pa'amim niglesi al Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov b'kel shakai. Many times I revealed myself to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov with the name Kel Shakai, v'lo hiru achar al midosai, and they did not think on my midos, meaning they didn't question me. V'lo amruli, and they didn't say to me, Ma shemecha, what's your name? And the Gemara continues and gives examples. Amarti le'Avram, I said to Avram, Kum hisalech ba'aretz la'arko l'rachba, go walk the land, its length and its width. Ki l'chot enena, I said, I'm going to give you the land of Eretz Yisrael. And bikesh makom likvor Sarah, then when Avram looked for a place to bury Sarah, v'lo matzi, he couldn't find it. At shekana b'daled me'os shekel kesef, until he had to buy it for 400 silver shekel. V'lo here al midosai, but still he didn't question me. And Amarti le'Yitzchak, I said to Yitzchak, Gur ba'aretz hazos, live in this land, ve'yem chav avarachek, and I'll be with you, I'll bless you. And bikshu avad of mayim l'shtos, then his servants looked for water to drink. V'lo matzu at shasu mariva, and they didn't find any water until they had to quarrel. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, vayarivu roei grorim, roei Yitzchak, it says the shepherds of Gror, they quarreled with the shepherds of Yitzchak. Lamor, they said, lanu hamayim, the water belongs to us. And still, v'lo hir achar midosai, he didn't question me. And Amarti Yaakov, and I said to Yaakov, the land which you're lying upon, I'm going to give it to you. And Bikesh Makam Lintoa Aholo, he looked for a place to set up his tent. V'lo matzi, he didn't find it. Until he had to buy it for 100 kasita. V'lo hir achar midosa, and still he didn't question me. V'lo amruli ma'ashemecha, and they didn't say to me, what's your name? V'yato amartali, and you're saying to me, ma'ashemecha, what's your name? Betchila, that's what you said to me in the beginning. V'achshav, and now, ata omerli v'hatzilo hitzalta samecha, now you're saying that you haven't saved your nation, you're questioning me. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk says, Atosira asher esel Paro, now you're going to see what I'm going to do to Paro. B'milchemes Paro atoro, we darshan that pasuk to mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, you will see the war against Paro. However, v'i atoro, but you will not see, because of the fact they are questioning me in this fashion, you will not see b'milchemes shloshim ve'echad malachim, you will not see the war against the 31 kings in Eretz Canaan. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk says, Vayimar Moshe, Vayikod Arza Vayishtachu, it says Moshe hurried and he bowed. Ma'ra Moshe, what exactly did Moshe see? Rabbi Chanina ben Gamla Amar, Rabbi Chanina ben Gamla says, Erech HaPayim Ra, he saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was slow to anger. For Rabbanan Amri, the Rabbanan say Emes Ra, he saw the Midah of Emes, the Midah of truth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we will note that the Masoras Hashas says some have the gears of Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel instead of Rabbi Chanina ben Gamla. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, Tanya Command Amar Erech HaPayim Ra, we have a brisa which says, like the one who says that Moshe saw the midah of Erech HaPayim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the midah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was slow to anger. The Tanya, because we learned in a brisa, K'sha'olam Moshe Lamara, when Moshe went up to the heavens, Motzal HaKadosh Baruch Hu she'yoshev v'kosev Erech HaPayim, he found HaKadosh Baruch Hu sitting and writing Erech HaPayim, that he is slow to anger. Amar Lefanav, he said before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, master of the world, Erech HaPayim latzadikim, slow to anger for the righteous. Amar Lo, he said to him, Aflu Rasham, I'm even slow to anger for the wicked. Amar Le, Moshe said to him, Rasham Yovedu, the wicked, they should be destroyed. Amar Le, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, Hashta chazis ma'id mi boilach, now you're going to see what it is that you need. Keshachatu Yisrael, when Klal Yisrael sinned, Amar Lo, he said to him, Lo kach amritli, didn't you say to me, Erech HaPayim latzadikim, that I'm only slow to anger when it comes to the tzadikim, but I'm not going to be slow to anger when it comes to the wicked. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Beis.